Welcome back. Hey, there with my partner in crime, Torrence. Yes, I was so glad to be back, you guys. The 2023 it feels good. It feels different, but it feels good. I'm still grateful that we're in the most illustrious industry. I'm looking at the best from the best word. We're in the most illustrious industry that we could be. We are. We're changing people's lives with meeting new people every week. Every week that I and James, we put our feet on the floor, we get to experience something new and just continue to be a motivation to other people. So that's where my head is for 2023. And,
We are helping make dreams come true. That's it. There is nothing like home ownership, and it's so unique. As we see, there is no more real estate. They aren't making any more dirt. So once you have your own little piece of the dirt, you are an elite group. However, buying real estate back in the day is much different than now. The trends are much different now than these were back in the day. So how does this new phase of real estate look in 2023 and beyond?
New phase of real estate, I think there's many ways to skim it. There's the investment side of it. There is the ownership side, and there's what to own. I think right now, it's important to, like you say, James, own land. They're not building any more of it, and it's okay to just buy land and sit on it.
It's okay.
I'll never forget going to a property management grueling 26-hour course, and we met a woman. She said her and her husband bought the ugliest home in the cheapest home in Atlanta, and all they did was board that house up and just pay taxes on it. Nobody talks about that strategy. That's the easiest strategy you can have in real estate, is just to buy a piece of crap and sit, board it up and sit and just chill.
I've never seen land depreciate.
No.
A car, the time you turn it on and drive it off, it depreciates. There's really not a whole lot you can do with putting your money into banks and then getting the kind of rate of return you expect. Stock market is too volatile right now.
Right.
So real estate is still the safest bet. But as opposed to what we were coming up buying homes, we wanted to get a big home and have the white picket fence and 4.5, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and blah. That's not the case anymore for this group of new homeowners. From what I'm saying, you tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
it is less is more now.
Less is more, but you got to have 2 home offices. As I'm working with people that are designing their full plan, or they want flex spaces for the husband and the wife, or the spouses so that they can work from home still, because people aren't necessarily back at work 100%. They still have the ability to flex.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Back in the day, we had a formal dining room.
That's right. Formal dining room.
So they remember the office, the little bookcase, the little TV where the TV go. Everybody doing that for.
My formal dining room was my kids' play area, my office.
Right. And so, I was reading an article where this young lady had a home. She purchased it for like $160, $170. It's nice, modest home. Did a little fixing up, and it was too big for her, which is her and her dog. It was three bedrooms. What she did, she built a tiny home in the back of it.
Okay.
And she said she spent, she budgeted originally like $20,000. By the time she tricked it out a little bit, it came up to like 30. But it was 800 square feet.
Okay.
It was one bed, it's tiny. Yeah, it was really nice. It was a really cute old nice home. And she rented out her house, her Airbnb, and she ended up making, profiting from that about $1,300 to $1,400 a month.
Oh, it's crazy.
And then her tiny home is now paid for.
Yes. The city of Atlanta said you can have up to 30%. Simple math. If your home is 1,000 square feet, you can have a 300 square foot ADU or accessory dwelling unit or tiny home in your backyard. January of last year, city of Atlanta came out with this. Check your municipality in your city. But nonetheless, you can still have it. It's great.
And that's the issue. The city of Atlanta is progressive in its thinking, not so much for other
municipalities.
Right. For instance, I'm in College Park. Cannot have it. They have homes where I live that had the other homes that were grandfathered in, but right now, as it stands right now, you cannot have another home.
Did they say what?
They didn't want the traffic. They wanted, and I don't live in an HOA. The hell? You mean, why should we able to have a tiny home on my property? Or I don't know, they are not progressive. East Point will allow it.
That's right.
Comfort with it. So, it's important for us to stay involved in our local politics because that makes a huge difference. With these kids now graduating, most kids I'm hearing are moving back home. They're coming back up, right? Whether we want them to come back or not, they're here. And why not help them, give them a head start, right?
Right.
Come back, you got a good job. This tiny home right here. Let me teach you how to be a homeowner.
It's huge.
Start here.
It's huge, but it's at a fraction of the cost compared to
The cost.
what we call in Atlanta the multi-generational homes, where there's these larger compounds. I've looked them up. A lot of them are 600,000 and above here in Atlanta, where you have multiple families living on one property. So I love the idea of the tiny home and allowing the adult child to come back, or the studio apartment above the garage. That's great.
Yeah, and then, as we age, our parents are aging. If you want to take care of your parents, that's part of the reason why we moved back to help take care of my parents.
Right.
And so that would be something nice to do as well. So, I'm going to lobby. I'm going to do what I got to do to make sure that the municipalities and the powers that be understand the reason behind it. See, they are thinking, it's going to bring about whole bunch of street traffic. And well, that may be the case too, but the homeowners should be able to regulate that. We have police officers, we have things in force, we have things in place to help keep laws and to keep it from becoming.
They're missing the boat on tighter family bonds.
They are.
And communities. They're actually missing.
And there's more tax revenue, taxes. I'm going to make more money. So anyway, we'll deal with that on our next session in College Park. But so that's a good thing. And also the container homes, the tiny homes in the container homes.
Container homes are huge.
I heard about Arthur Blake at the Home Depot is starting to sell prefab. I was looking at,
You see that? It was pretty cool.
like $12,000.
$12,000, you can essentially go and buy a prefab home from Home Depot.
I mean, you can't beat that now.
No.
Get a little piece of property, figure it out, hold on to it, and expand from there.
Home Depot is trying to get into some of that boxable money.
They are, and it's definitely out there because the economic outlook for 2023 and beyond is not that good. We talk about the raising of interest rates. Right, they have to do that. I think the Feds, they were a little late on it, and this is my personal opinion. And now they're trying to put Genie back in the bottle, so to speak, and they, we raise on, then we come down a little bit to see how it's working, and it still keeps expanding. The inflation is still a little bit out of control, and it's going to be if they don't do something. So that's why I said we got to be prepared for sevens, for 7.5s going forward. Now, how that's going to affect us this year? I don't think it's going to be good.
Right.
For a lot of people.
As I mentioned last week, I was at the R4 convention for RE/MAX with over 10,000 agents, and the founder, Dave Liniger, been in real estate 50 years. He was asked about his opinion of real estate. He mentioned that we're going to be doing this up and down. We're going to teeter all year. That's what we're going to do. Rates go down a little bit. There's a surge in the market. Rates go up. People claw back. Rates go down to 6. As soon as people see a 6.875, then the market surges, and that's what we're going to see. And he felt like we would see that through first quarter of 2024 is what Dave Liniger mentioned. So I'm here for it. Bring it on. The joy of this is that people still have to move and buy and move or sell, and our life will continue.
So they have to sell, but right now I don't see a lot of inventory. And the people who have the homes with the 3.5s and the 3%, even the 4% interest rates are not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm not going to give up my 3.5% or 3% or whatever, somebody has for a 7 or a 6.5, unless something happens financially where you have to move, or tragedy strikes a family, or somebody dies or leaves something. You typically don't have a lot of people, a lot of sellers getting the hell on right.
I have a perfect scenario. I have a client. She moved here from Detroit, Michigan. She is retired. She's looking at a 55 and up. We call it 55 and better community, right? And we saw a home on the market in Lawrenceville area with a 3.5 interest rate. The original owners moved into it, and the husband had a fall. And they decided that it may be coming to an end for that particular seller. He bought a camper, and they just want to go travel. They don't want no damn house. They just ready to go travel.
Yeah.
But they had a 3.5 interest rate. Right now, we're under contract to assume that 3.5 loan with Chase Bank. So right now, I'm seeing a change in the market where we are actually assuming. So the negative is it takes about 6 months. But nonetheless, my client is ecstatic that she's going through the process with assuming the loan.
So these loans are assumable?
There are still assumable loans out there that are VA loans. So there are certain conventional loans that are maybe held with Chase Bank,
Right.
or held with that bank, particular institution. They are assumable. So that's what I would say to people as they're shopping or looking for a great deal.
That's good advice.
Look out there, pick up the phone, and call and see if that loan is assumable. It's a new day. This is the new face of real estate that I'm seeing, where you can still have success,
That is some good advice, man. I did not know that. We've been doing it forever. And when I do closings, I don't really look to see if a loan is assumable.
It's on one page with a checkbox, yes or no.
Yeah.
And now I feel like you're going to, now that I brought it up, I'm going to be looking for that. There is a one-page document of your entire closing stack that's going to really focus on that. And that box being checked as yes opens the door for someone else to take a great opportunity.
Okay, but good advice. Do you see the market stabilizing anytime soon? Like you said, it ebbs and flows, but when do you think we'll come to a point where it'll be stable, for a period of 2 to 3 quarters consecutive?
To me, I'm happy because right now prices are not going up as fast.
No, it's doing that.
So to me, I'm happy because buyers can actually negotiate again, and they can get interest rate buy-downs, and they can play in the sand again.
Right.
Yeah. And I do feel like there are people that are putting their homes on the market maybe a little overpriced, so they're getting a taste of reality and maybe having to do price reduction. So there is a sense that buyers can now play again. But to answer your question on stabilization is a subjective word. Stabilize for who? Yeah, that's true. Right now, where the buyers, they're having fun negotiating again. It's a balance being found.
So what lessons can our younger viewers, first-time homeowners, learn from previous years regarding homeownerships and buying and applying for a loan? What lessons can they take from the 2021s, 2022s to go forward?
Oh man, the biggest lesson right now, James, is you may not need a $500,000 house. You may not need $450,000. It's time to scale back. Less is more. I was telling our producer, it's okay to go smaller.
It is.
Because smaller means you're saving more money, you're spending less utilities, and it's okay. So, and it's less is more. It is less maintenance, less work, less to clean, less stress.
It is.
So, less is more. You see some of these celebrities out here foreclosing on their houses. Why? Because they got in over their heads. So, less is more. And that's the tip that I would say to people.
Less is more. One thing that I could probably say is that this holds true for whatever time you're in. Make sure your credit is good.
Oh, keep it tight.
Because once the rates do come back, or they are at a point where you want to refinance or buy, you'll have that credit to jump in and up the Dutch game. I tell my kids, my grown adult children, you got to make sure you're ready to play in the sandbox when the invitation comes. Because if they do come down again to 4s, it's going to be a small window. And if you can't hop in there at Double Dutch, you'll miss out.
Ready? There's another cool thing that is called recasting. So let's just say you live in a house 10 years and you paid down $50,000 or $70,000, and you bought at today's rate. Well, guess what? You can pick up the phone, call that lender, and do what's called recasting, or they re-amortize your loan for $150 without having to refinance. So that is another way people can lower their payments by being aggressive. I'm not saying Dave Ramsey aggressive.
Right.
They just go broke to pay everything down.
Sure.
Dave Ramsey was going to have me getting a divorce for a little bit. Living out of napkins and white envelopes.
Right.
But nonetheless, there are ways. So James,
To do that.
yes. So that is another way you can continue to lower your payment over the future,
Right.
in the future.
So that's some good advice. Great advice for our audience. For those wondering, what makes, we shared some great things. What makes a good agent? I mean, certainly knowing all of this helps. But if I'm a new agent and I'm in the business, what things would I have to learn or know or need to know that are essential for helping buyers find that perfect property for them, or the sellers letting them know or helping them to know when is the right time to sell?
Okay. So on the buyer side, let's say, what do agents need to know? I would say that agents really need to understand the financial markets, understand the history of the financial markets, understand, like we just discussed, like a 50-year backtrack, and just have a real conversation on what the history is, understand the difference between a direct lender and a broker or a correspondent lender. Understand those terms so that you know where the money is coming from. And once you know where the money is actually coming from, you can go direct, cut out the middleman, save some money, know how to negotiate. And I would say learn how to leverage relationships. Right now, I feel like certain banks, based on you doing business with them, will offer you or roll out your big component of that.
Agreed.
People want to do business with those that do business with them. So
Exactly.
relationships matter. But yeah, so it's back to the question, what should other agents do? They should learn how relationships can help them in their business by talking to their local mortgage broker or banker or even community banker. There's a lot of community programs. My best friend is a vice president of Fifth Third Bank in Chicago. They are rolling out the dough for people who want to give back in certain communities. Sure. There are programs where you can go and buy a dilapidated multifamily where they will give you 50% of the renovation monies if you give affordable housing for 10 years. So going deeper than just, did I get a free approval letter?
Right.
Start asking more questions because the government has made money available. It's just up to you to find it or get with a local realtor that is active enough, not part-time, active enough to know what's going on.
Active. Sorry, I'm worried about. No, I heard a stat, and it was surprising that the median income, average income for a real estate agent is $45,000
or less. I'll say National Association of Realtors said that and there could be a lot of realtors that get out of business.
Yes.
But I think this is great because now consumers are looking for the professional that can help them. And that will prevent buyers from getting in trouble working with a full-time professional.
You said a key word.
That knows what they're doing.
Professional. What makes a professional a professional?
A realtor that upholds their certifications. They're a member of a board. And they're just active. They're active by way of operating daily in the capacity of an agent, by way of learning and seeing new things.
So that leads me to my next little input about the new agents now as opposed to agents.
We're going to give you a trouble.
Right. No, well, we already are. So these new agents, I'm just saying it from a bird's eye.
Oh, God, okay.
At the closing table, if there was a point in time when agents knew how to read a settlement statement, they knew how to calculate intangible tax, transfer tax. They knew things that would set them apart at the closing table. Right. And what I always tell people, your time at the closing table is your time to market yourself. But get you can do the commercials, the billboard, that's fine. But word of mouth is the best for and the best for of marketing. And how do you get that? When it's your time to get in the game.
That's true.
You know what you're talking about. These agents now, first of all, they don't even come close. They don't even come close. They call me, can you mail my check? What? And then when I mail it, they have the audacity to say, can you overnight it? What? You know, that's $20? You don't even come to close it. So it's a whole nother topic which we'll get into later. But number one is show up. You got to show up.
Show up for you.
And then when you show up, be dressed appropriately.
What have you seen, James? You see some Kango sings coming in with some usually workout agents.
You know, I was literally in court today, and I sat and looked at the caliber of everybody as opposed to back when I first got out of law. So people used to come to court in suits,
right,
some slacks with a nice button down, had their hair together. People come in courts now, no lie. This girl had on a bonnet. She had on some sweatpants, and she had on some fur, feline slippers. You know, I started taking my phone out. I said, no. I said, you know what? Nobody's going to really believe this. Let me take my phone out. But here's the thing. Nobody else was looking like it was, that's not the norm. They weren't as shocked. I looked around and see who in this courtroom is going to say something. And fortunately, I got out of there before the judge came. Hopefully the judge is going to say something to her. Right. People just don't care anymore. Their appearance, right? So that's your first space to whoever at the start of the COVID world.
Dave, I can't make excuses for how people dress, but I will say that the world has gone more relaxed.
You can make excuses because some things you just know. I mean, there ought to be nice, have it, but at least don't look like, you know, just don't look like I'm gonna get in trouble. Just do the best you can.
Yes, you can.
And some of this is not, and I don't know, it might be, but from trying to be a little on the outside looking in, I'm thinking that you could probably do a little better, like just do your hair. Right. Don't come in courtroom with a bonnet.
What about it?
Just start there.
This is true.
Right. So at the closing table, however, you know, come in with, if you're an agent, you typically have, I mean, it's not your first, maybe your first show, but you can come in with slacks and a shirt or something decent. Don't have on certain attire that just, you know, causing the question, you know, who you are as an agent.
I always try to ask questions, you know, while I'm at the closing table, even if I know the answer, just to give my client education, you know.
Right. And I think that's key. We have to do more of that, this new breed of agents coming through, not only educate them as to the statistical data and the stats and how you can help your client and how to delve in a little bit more to find out this, find out that, but how you come and your appearance is every. Yeah, I agree. It's everything. So I'm going to put a pin in that right there because we have...
Tell me how you really feel.
We going to have a lot more to talk about in terms of how you present to the public.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll table that one. Okay.